Thank you very much, Nick, and the entire SMWW staff for putting this on. Dane, it's good to see you. I know you live in Kansas City, and I see some red on, but I don't think it's for the Chiefs. So maybe everybody needs to know your story. But let's back up. I want to welcome everyone to our chat. We have a lot of fun in here. If you're not having fun, we'll ask you to leave. So you got a lot of pressure on you before we get ready for that NFL game with my Kansas City Chiefs. Dane, let's back up to high school, my friend. Tell us your story from high school on. Thank you for coming in.
Oh, shoot, Doc. One, it's good to be on. I appreciate it. Look at you rocking your Kansas City Chiefs
Yeah.
polo. I like it, Doc. And we're excited to watch the game. You know, I married into a Chiefs family over here. So, despite where I previously worked and my affiliations with the AFC West, it's still, it is good. It's a good time to be out here in Kansas City
Yeah. Yeah.
watching your Chiefs.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, going back to high school, shoot, grew up in Southern California and thoroughly had a great time enjoying all the beautiful Golden State has to offer, and played a little football. But unfortunately, I didn't inherit the good athletic, genes in the family. So that's why I
Yeah.
married a basketball player there, Doc, so that my kids hopefully will have a little better fortune than I had. But no, I quickly got into coaching is my means. I initially went to school at Cal Poly Pomona, studied history to become a high school history teacher and football
Yeah.
coach, but I had the itch, right? So I wanted to follow
Yeah.
sports and pursue it. So I kept studying and tried to figure out whatever edge I could get, and that
What did
led
you
me
do after college, after Pomona? What was your first job? What'd you do?
going back to school was my first job. So after I finished undergrad, I went to grad school and did my
Tell everybody where
master's.
you went.
Pardon me?
Tell us where you went.
I went to the University of San Francisco. Wanted to go work for my beloved San
Yeah.
Francisco 49ers, but I got up there. It was great. I was sitting next to one of the managers in football ops right when I first got up there.
Yeah.
He clued me into an internship that was coming up with the 49ers. I ended up being a finalist for it, and it seemed like the stars were going to align, right? That
Yeah. Yeah.
this huge 49ers fan that went up to San Francisco was about to have an opportunity with his beloved
Yeah.
franchise. But I did not end up getting the internship. And at that point in time, it was a quick self-reflection of, okay, how do I build my resume? How do I put
Yeah.
myself in the most hireable
Right.
position, right? How do I
Right.
gain some
Right.
basic foundational knowledge of football operations, of, life in the NFL, of NFL experience? And that
Yeah.
led me actually across the bay to the Oakland Raiders, who ended up having, some wonderful internships where I was working for free out there. They
What was
love
your first
me
job there with
flying
the
out.
Raiders?
Pardon me?
What was your first job with the Raiders?
Writing some terrible stories for their website, Doc. Yeah, so was not my passion, was not my forte. Unfortunately, our readers had to stomach a couple articles that I put up there for the
Yeah.
training camp of
Yeah.
2008. So,
Yeah.
but it was my first foot in the door in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
one of those where whenever you applied for a job, seemingly in the NFL, they
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
asked, "Well, do you have experience working with an NFL team?" And it's like,
Right.
well, no, I don't. So how am I supposed to get experience if you're not going to hire me for
And
this
there was no
entry level job?
SMWW. Yeah, there was no SMWW. So
That's
how long were
right.
you there with the Raiders then?
So I was interning there in 2008, and then I interned with the NFLPA. I lived on my buddy's couch
Wow.
for 4 months out in Washington, D.C., going up
Yeah.
and interning there at
Yeah.
the headquarters of the PA. Went back out to San Francisco to finish up my degree. Raiders came
Yeah.
calling again with another unpaid internship, but in football operations this
Yeah.
time. So I was charting quarterback throws for Coach Paul Hackett, and we had Jamarcus Russell and Jeff Garcia and
Yeah.
Andrew Walter at the time. So I was going out there
Yeah.
for OTAs during the spring,
Right.
and unexpectedly, a full-time position in scouting came available, an entry-level one. They ended up, unfortunately, letting go of about three people, merging all those
Yeah.
positions into one entry-level
Yeah.
job. So I
Yeah.
was answering telephones, sending faxes,
Right.
filing scouting reports, whole nine yards. So at any rate, I was able to get an
How
interview
many
for
years
it.
were you doing that? How many years were you doing that?
Did that for 2 years.
Okay. And then what happened?
And then I got promoted by Al Davis to pro scout.
And was that before you moved to Vegas?
I never moved to Vegas. Never
You
lived
know,
there one day in my life. So I worked for the Raiders until January of 2019. So before they
okay,
moved to Vegas, I was out in Oakland
right.
the whole time.
Then walk us through from 219 to where you are now. Before we go, we're going to have many questions here. I get my first 15 minutes with Dane, but walk us through what happened then.
Sure. So after the Raiders, I had a relationship, obviously, with the NFLPA from interning with them initially, but then
Yeah,
also I was going down to their All-Star game every year as a member of the Raiders scouting department. So, I had some connections there with the people that were
yeah,
putting on the event. They were looking for their new player personnel
yeah,
director. So it was a logical fit for me. I applied for it, interviewed for it, and was fortunate to receive that position and
yeah,
did that for 5 years after the Raiders. And, really, it was a blessing for me. It was a wonderful job. Got to,
yeah,
really hone in on a lot of college
yeah,
scouting. Got to meet Dr. Lashbrook and had some opportunities to come on board
yes,
and teach football scouting
yeah,
and GM with
yeah,
John here. So
yeah.
it was a great opportunity for me.
And Dave, as we always say, keep your day job for everybody getting started. But this before SMWW came along. But what do you do now? Your outside SMWW day job. What is that?
Sure. So right now I'm the director of pro personnel or pro scouting for the Hamilton Tiger Cats up in the CFL. So good buddy of mine, Ted Gavea, who I
Yeah,
knew from my time dating back to the Raiders and through the PA Bowl. He became GM this year and asked me if I'd be interested in joining him up in
yeah,
Hamilton. I told him absolutely. So I'm getting my feet wet here, Doc, in a new
yeah,
professional
yeah.
football league, but I've really been enjoying it.
Dan, let me ask you a couple questions before we go to questions from the audience. This is all about them asking you questions, but we're in a new world out there and the game's being played in Brazil. My first question is in the globalization of the NFL and, of course, flag football, if I may, but there's a global identification of talent. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a lot going on right now, not just with transfer portal, but talk about talent discovery and analytics and video and what's going on right now for whether it's CFL or NFL. We're all looking for the next great player.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head right there, right? I think that one, the NFL is expanding, its own reach and really looking at other continents for players. And obviously, right now in the CFL, just about every punter comes from Australia, right? In the NFL,
Yeah,
you have a heavy influence. In college football, you have a heavy
yeah,
influence. We're getting a lot more European soccer players
yeah,
coming over and
right,
kicking. But even beyond just specialists, they're
yeah,
bringing in and they're finding great athletes that meet traditional football physical, parameters and
yeah,
athleticism and getting them opportunities. And it's not just the
yeah,
NFL, the CFL is doing it. We've got a lot of
yeah,
football leagues expanding. The sport is growing. I think flag
yeah.
football is going to be bigger than all of it. And,
I do too.
you even
Yeah,
have, obviously the growing fields in analytics
yeah.
and sports performance that continue to evolve.
Dan, there's a lot of new people who are not familiar with Sports Management Worldwide and the 8-week course. And even Ted has hired some of our graduates and talk about analytics and court digital video editing combined in the world of being equipped to break into the business. What tell a student what they could learn about what the NFL, the CFL, and other organizations are looking for from a potential future scout instead of going just to the University of San Francisco and get a master's. Tell them about the hands-on approach.
Yeah, I think it's the more you can do type mentality, right? And so, I mean,
Yeah,
even when I was starting out with the Raiders, one of my jobs is go catalog all the college football tape we were getting in.
yeah,
Now, that was on beta at the time there, Doc, just to date myself, but, it was still part of my responsibility. Even when it was digitized, I was going over there and downloading it,
yeah,
renaming it, organizing it appropriately. So I think that one, to have as much background as much competencies as possible is what everybody's looking for, right? We're always talking
yeah,
about positionless players now in football, but I think you're looking for positionless employees as well, people that
yeah,
have, experience and backgrounds in,
yeah,
football video editing, in analytics, and being able to,
right,
translate data, understand what does it all
right,
mean? We've got so much data these
yeah,
days, but if you can't tell me what it's worth, then its value is nothing. So people that
yeah,
can do that and understand
yeah.
that add
Yeah.
value to front offices.
You know, Dane, having John Wooten, who blocked for James Brown, he's almost He's a lifelong NFL executive, and he's unbelievable to talk to. My question to you, and what I take a lot of pride in, this company's 30 years old. We have 164 different countries, if I may, and over 30,000 graduates. I love our informational interviews, and I know you encourage students to go out, say, "Hey, I know Dane. I'm in his class. I just want a 10-minute interview." But talk about what you've watched students that go out and get incredible interviews and ask questions and network. And we're getting so many graduates because of the networking. Talk about what you encourage a student to do in our 8-week class.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Doc, and you know as well as anybody, it's about who you know because there's so many people that want these jobs, right? Everybody wants to work in sports. It's exciting. It's a wonderful place to
Yeah,
show up every day and to make a living. So, it's highly competitive. So now we have to figure out ways that we're going to set ourselves apart. That's going to
yeah,
be one in our background and in our resume,
yeah,
our experience. And then it's also going to be in the networking component. And so I always encourage our students, hey, you know what? Keep at it
yeah,
with those
yeah,
LinkedIn emails.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
hey, 9 out of 10 times you're not going to hear back. But
yeah,
guess what? That 10th time, you may be able to establish a connection. And then don't be
yeah,
afraid to ask them, hey, does your
yeah,
organization have any internships? If
yeah,
so, do you mind
yeah,
passing along the best person for
yeah,
me to reach out to? So it's just small things because a
yeah.
lot of people don't understand, for instance, especially in the NFL, that training camp internships are typically filled in early May. So
Right.
if you're applying in June or July trying to get on with the team for training camp, you're too
Yeah,
late. You missed the
yeah,
bus.
yeah,
So, and if you send in your resume in January, it may get buried at the bottom of the stack. So you do want to be strategic a little bit and get it in
yeah.
at the right time at the right person.
So, Dane, before we and get your questions going, let Nick know. Raise your hand or type in your question, and we'll come to you because this is all about you. But Dane, I got to be honest with you. I grew up. I played football at Fort Hays State out there in Kansas, and in the off season, I did the splicing of film, the 16 millimeter film. True story. And we got now digital video editing. Mike Stober teaches that. But talk a little bit before we go to our questions with our audience here. Talk about how important analytics are to scouting.
Well, it's a growing field, right? And I think that one, you're looking at the hiring trends in the NFL, and it's a lot less with old school scouting per se, and it's a lot more with analytics
Yeah,
and the ability to again
yeah,
interpret and translate that data. So, really, when it comes to analytics, I think one, there's a lot of misrepresentation about what it can do.
yeah,
I don't think
yeah,
analytics is going to tell you who the right person to draft, right, is every year in the
yeah,
first round, but analytics can help make other decisions more well informed, right?
yeah,
That's why we
yeah,
see it oftentimes in the game planning. We see it oftentimes with, decision making throughout the game on, when to go for it, when not to,
yeah,
how to use this information to
yeah.
our advantage to give us a little bit of a competitive edge.
Dave, before I go to Duncan Haynes Mills, my last question
Oh
is
God, not Duncan,
now,
Doc.
but here's my question. I look at college athletics. I watch the general managers, Mike Lombardi. We watch Belichick coming back from the NFL. We watch the general manager positions in football. I'm fascinated by the opportunities to work in a professional like program at the college level. Your comment on the gravity of the changes in the last 3 years of opportunities to work in football operations in a college Division 1, 2, or 3 team.
Yeah, there are 32 NFL teams and there's 136 Division 1A football teams.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's not even counting FCS. That's not counting Division 2, Division 3,
yeah,
NAIA. That's just, all the big boys that we typically think of with Division 1.
yeah,
So there
yeah,
are, obviously significantly more
yeah,
opportunities in the world of college football. They're
yeah,
trying to mimic the NFL right now with NIL and with the revenue
yeah,
share and everything that they
right.
have to go through. They're trying to hire
Yeah,
more staffers to help them
yeah,
understand the transfer portal, which is, gosh, Doc, we're having 4,000 kids jump in it a day, and now they're talking
yeah,
about limiting it from a 45-day window to a 10-day window.
right.
So it's
You
going to
know,
be even more condensed and
it's
only one
crazy.
time a year instead
Yeah,
of two. So again, we're just talking about the
yeah,
need that schools
intensity.
have to
Yeah,
have capable bodies in there helping them find the right players for them.
and
We all watched
Dave.
that UNC game the other night and
Oh my
them
gosh,
talking
yeah,
about 70 players that
right.
brought in brand new.
Yeah.
I think 39 of them came from the portal. So it's a world of change in college football.
Right. In my rule, these kids going to college, get in that athletic program, work in that football office for 4 years. That's a missing link. No, nothing in
Yes.
sports management degree. Getting into that football office is a great thing. Duncan, let's go with your introduction and your question for Dane. Always good to have you in, Duncan.
Hello, Dane. How you doing?
Duncan, my man, how we doing? Right down the
I'm
road from
good,
me.
actually. Hi, I'm Duncan Dane Smells. I'm from Shawnee, Kansas, and I guess I'm starting my question off because I actually signed up for a career fair with the Royals, and they're
Yeah.
actually having the Sporting Kansas City and the KC Current there. And I understand, like, you went through a lot of the introduction phases and all that. This is just me going to them and talking to them.
Yeah.
Any advice of how to get the ball rolling with them, kind of deal?
I think Dane's gonna represent us. We've coerced him into it, but I do a lot of and they're great networking. There's nothing better. Our courses are a lifetime membership, resume service, informational interviews. And so we like those face to face, but you're going to get a job through Dane, what you've learned in the course and doing informational interviews. But the career fairs are great networking, but they're a myth just to think you can go to a career fair and get a job. Dane, your comment on that before we go to our next caller?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, Duncan, one, you're a personable young man, and I think you just lean into that, right? I think if you can make a connection, because typically, right, they're not going to have necessarily the person you're going to be working under at the career fair. They're going to have somebody in human resources there. So you know what?
Yeah.
Go make a connection with that HR
Yeah.
person. They may perhaps be the gateway to getting into
Yeah.
that next position. If you can be memorable, if you can speak to them in a genuine way, then I think they're going to, remember you. Hey, here's my card. Can I get your card? Great. I'm going to apply for this
Yeah.
position and I'm going to follow up with an email with you just to let you
Yeah.
know. And I'd love to stay
Yeah.
in touch. So,
Dane,
pardon me?
yeah, Henry DeRico's next, but I also tell students we sometimes shoot to want to work for the Chiefs. Andy Hill's a coach for the Chiefs. He was at Missouri. He played football at Missouri when I was there. My point is get in the ecosystem. Sometimes we go too far to the top. Let's get in at Missouri or get in at William Drew or get in at Fort Hays. Earn your stripes. And once you're in the ecosystem, you're in forever. Let's go to Henry DeRico with your introduction and questions for Dane. Henry, thanks for coming in.
Yes, sir. So I'm from Boston,
Yeah.
Massachusetts. I'm currently getting my
Okay.
master's in sports administration.
Good job.
And my question had to do with staying in contact with people who I have had internships with. And within the scouting realm, I've had internships with the Ravens, the
Mhm.
University of Nevada, and I have an opportunity to do scouting and recruiting for Boston College in my time here. And I was just wondering what you guys would say about staying in contact with people, say at the Ravens or at the University of Nevada, and what you would like to see from interns who have, spent their time there, but, they hadn't graduated yet and they're trying to get back into the
Yeah.
scout realm.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing, Henry, one, you've already got obviously a great resume, so lean into that, and make sure everyone knows, like, hey, look, I'm experienced. Have those positions at the top of it, and let's not worry about those other ones, right, that may not be directly relevant to the position we're applying for. But, to your point, I think the biggest thing is to make sure when we're networking and we're following up with people, not always to be asking them for a job, right? Like, hey, Nevada,
Yes.
I saw that you beat San Jose State last weekend. Just wanted to say what an awesome game that was. That was really fun to see. Wish you guys all the best this season. Just small notes sometimes to let people know, hey, I'm thinking of you. And it also
Yeah.
reminds them, hey, you know what, Henry's out there,
Yeah.
and if we need
Yeah.
someone, it's a great person for us
Yeah.
to consider down the road, or that, they may
Yeah.
leave Nevada and go to Fresno State next year, and it's an
That's it.
opportunity for them. Hey, Henry, I need someone to come in to help me with an on-campus recruiting role, whatever it may be. So
Yeah.
I just think, I think a big misnomer a lot of people make is we only lean into our network when we want something. So let's make
Yeah.
sure that we're leaning into it also when we don't need something and we just want to, reach out and
Yeah.
just give a nice hello and wish you well.
Yeah. Thank you, Henry. And Dane, I couldn't agree with you more. I tell students every Sunday I do a chat worldwide, all over the world. I got to be honest, don't ask for a job, ask for advice. they'll be impressed, and ask about them, what their challenges are, where they heading career wise. They'll be impressed with you. That's one of the secret sauces is doing that. And like Dane said, just keep networking and meet and what can you do better? What's the secret to grow? Everybody asks for a job, but why should I hire you if you can't help me win more games? There's a Missouri KU game tomorrow. That's a big game. Somebody will probably get fired at the end of the season. So there's so many opportunities. Azarinti, next question is, what's the difference between an NFL agent and an NFL scout? Now, I'm a slick agent, Dane. I think a really good guy after 30 years. But what do you say about what's the difference between an agent and scout? I say one is they get paid differently. Agents have to be scouts. Scouts work for a team. Agents work for the player. But talk about the relationship between agent and scout. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. And it's one that you got to be thick as thieves because there's a lot of good information that goes between that's so important for one, the team building process and being able to massage these relationships, right? We just watched the whole Micah Parsons drama play out with the Cowboys, and that's not a good, example of the front office and an agent kind of working together. It's the opposite. But, I just think in general, when, when your agent is good at evaluating players, he more, easily can identify the next up and coming player. And oftentimes there's a big relationship that goes along because, hey, look, if I've got a great relationship with you and I'm a scout, then, I may be able to clue you in perhaps on someone that impressed me when I was there on campus for a visit. So that relationship is so important, and there's a lot of information that flows both ways. I think both have to be good evaluators of talent, but obviously the scout is sitting there focused, 8 days a week at helping that team beat that rival coming up, and the agent's always looking for that next up and coming player.
Thank you, Zane. Nick's going to read a question. Please write your question. Raise your hand. You can come in. This is what we're all about. We do this every week. All of our instructors are in the trenches. They all wear trench coats, if I may, but they're in the trenches. None of them have a doctorate in kinesiology, but yours truly, Dr. Leishbrecht. And I got to be honest, we got the greatest faculty in the world, and they want to help you. We have resume service. I want everybody in this room to work in the NFL or college football. I want you to get paid for your passion. Let's go to Nick with the question he's going to read. And keep raising your hand if you have a question. We'll get to Arturo next after that. But go ahead.
Yeah, we had a question in the chat asking, what are some good questions to ask for a informational interview, a professional interview, and how can these questions help improve the quality to create a good flow of conversation?
Yeah, a great question. I think it's an important one. The biggest thing I always tell our students in football scouting and GM is research the person you're going to speak with, right? Everyone's going to ask, oh, what's the day-to-day like? Okay, come up with a better question that they haven't been asked 15 times already, right? Look into their background. Hey, I remember I did an informational interview when I was a student with Scott McLuhan, who was the general manager of the 49ers at the time. And one of the questions I asked, I said, you played baseball collegiately at Wichita State. How did that prepare you for a career in professional football? So sometimes just digging into their past and understanding where they've been, what their experience has been, it can be a helpful way to come up with creative questions that they haven't heard before. But I think at the end of the day, one, people love to talk about themselves, so give them every opportunity to do so. And then two, make sure you follow up and ask that question. Hey, do you know of any opportunities with your organization upcoming? Are there internships that you guys routinely staff? And again, when's the best time to be applying for those, and who's the best contact? So just those easy questions, but if you well research them, they can make the interviewee impressed with your own background and what you've done.
And Dave, one of my secret sauce before I go to Arturo is always ask before you leave, oh, by the way, is there anybody else I should interview? 9 out of 10 times, they'll send you to a friend. They'll give you the email and the phone number, true story. And guess what? When we send them out that Starbucks gift card, they call us up and thank us. And then we invite them to Indianapolis to speak at our combine, like Adam Schefter and others. I kid you not, Dane. And you're a superstar when it comes to being inspirational to the young people in the room. Let's go to Arturo, if I'm saying that right, Martinez, and introduce yourself, where you're from, your day job, and get into your question. And if it's not good, we're going to kick you out. Go ahead.
No, fair. Good afternoon, Dr. Lynn, Dane. Nice to meet you guys. My name's Arturo Martinez. I'm currently a youth coach, actually in soccer.
Love it.
But I just, it's good to be involved in every conversation.
Right.
I'm based out of Philadelphia at the moment. I am enrolled in the soccer analytics course at Sports
Love it.
Management Worldwide. My question would be to Dane, what would a student expect at the completion of this program? What kind of skills would they develop throughout the course?
Good question. Good to have you. And by the way, soccer got the name before we did. So I'm surprised you even came in. Usually the soccer people hate us, but I'm glad that you respect us enough.
No,
Dane, answer the question. What are they going to
Yeah.
learn in this course?
Yeah, and I see the soccer shots jacket, and my son does soccer shots out here in Kansas City area. So
That's great. That's
yeah,
great.
it's great to have that representation in here. But no, it's a great question you ask, Arturo. I think the biggest thing that most people getting into football don't understand is, one, what are the different roles that are actually in an NFL front office, or even in this case, an NCAA office? Two, what are the competencies that they need in order to get their foot in the door? So those are things and I'm so blessed to teach this class with John Wooten. I consider myself a student here every Wednesday night when I get in there with him. He's just a fountain of knowledge, and I soak it up as best I can. So, we're always talking about the critical factors when we're evaluating players. We're talking about the position specifics when we're evaluating players. And then, again, I just think the biggest thing is, once we leave, what are the best pathways that we can go down in order to be a successful candidate coming up? So we're constantly talking about the best ways for us to break into the profession, and what are the skills that we need in order to hit the ground running once we do, and ultimately separate ourselves from really the competition that we're going up against.
Thank you, Dana. Before I go to Nate, I'm going to Evan Prosser. And I also want to remind everybody, even at my stage in life, at 76, the oldest one in here, I go to LinkedIn before I do an informational interview or talk to somebody. LinkedIn will tell you so much. Oh, I see you went to Missouri. Oh, I see you went to New York. It gives you so much more credibility when you bring and you look at somebody's back. Instead of going and say, where'd you go to school? Well, you could look that at LinkedIn. Be relevant and look like you've done your homework. Let's go to Evan, and then we'll go to Nate, and then we'll get to Michael. Evan, come in with your introduction.
Thank you.
Come on, Evan. Yeah, but we can go
Hey,
to
how
the
are y'all
moon.
doing?
Come on in. Yeah, good.
My name's
Come on
Evan
in.
Prosser. I'm currently a student here at Georgia Southern. I'm studying right now. I'm with the scouting department for the football team, and I work with
Good
compliance.
job. Good job.
So yeah, my
Go ahead.
question was, what would working with both the NFL and CFL, other than market share and size-wise, what would you say the biggest differences?
The game is completely different. For one, obviously in the CFL and Canadian football, they got 12 guys on each side of the ball.
Right.
They only got 3 down, so they're punting on 3rd down. So,
Yeah.
obviously the game itself is very different.
Yeah.
But obviously the economics are very different. In the
Right.
NFL, when you're rolling out an $800,000 minimum contract, it dwarfs what obviously the CFL is able to provide players. So, just the economics and really the interest from, especially in this regard, American players to go up north and play is very different. But they're both football. They're both a lot of fun, and they both have, a lot of great opportunities for people looking to break into the profession.
Thank you very much. Let's go to
Thank you.
Nate. Thank you. Let's go to Nate.
Hi guys, my name's Nate Tucker. Right now I am a senior at the University of Florida, and I'm kind of just trying to do everything I can to prepare myself for the job search upon graduation. And I had a summer internship with the Dolphins this past summer, and what I'm really trying to do is just kind of utilize any connections I made with the Dolphins. And I'm currently in the football communications department at the University of Florida, so I'm kind of just blind applying to places and kind of utilizing my connections the best way I can. Do you think there's any kind of other source of information or any other advice you really have for me to kind of get a job in the NFL post graduation?
Yeah, you use your boss, right? I mean, your biggest resource potentially is that director of communications there at Florida, or perhaps your previous internship supervisor there with the Dolphins, right? And just like I was saying earlier with my own story, I wasn't expecting a position to open up in Oakland with the Raiders. But I was there, I was putting in the work, I was interning, I was doing everything I could to be prepared for when one opened somewhere. and just so
Yeah.
happened to be at the organization where I was. So, the biggest thing I would say, Nate, is, man, focus on doing the best job you absolutely can where you are, and impress your supervisor and make them want to go and reach out to their network on your behalf and say, hey, I've got a great, young man working for me, and I think that he deserves an opportunity.
Yeah.
He's going to tell the Baltimore Ravens, hey, if you guys are looking for someone, I've got a great, person or candidate for you. He's going to tell the, Air Force football team there that, hey, if you need someone, I've got a candidate. So I would just always say, do the best job with where you are, and let the rest kind of play itself out. But it sounds to me there, Nate, like you're already got a lot of going in the right direction.
Yeah. And Nate, I got to be honest with you. I'm not going to upsell today, but if you get into our company, not only do you get an 8-week course, you get resume service, continued week chats every week. We're very connected around the world. And when you do an information interview, not only do we send a Starbucks gift card, but you demonstrate you've invested in yourself. You're not just another guy that wants to work in the NFL. And you may have to go to Central Florida or Florida Atlantic to get started. I remember back at Missouri in 1980, Russ Ball was assistant strength coach. He's executive vice president of the salary cap at the Green Bay Packers. They just did the Micah trade. Mike Zimmer was a graduate assistant picking players up at the airport, longtime NFL coach. And that's the Rolodex that you get. And my Rolodex of 76 years is your Rolodex. And just coming in here and not being afraid to spend the time to ask questions and learn a little bit. We're not interested. We created a Rolodex for you. We want you to be a GM someday. We had one of the students that spoke at our conference, 34 years old, the Jacksonville GM that made the big trade for Travis Hunter. Our former graduate, former agent, represents Travis Hunter. We're very connected. And just coming in here and getting to know us is what we want to do. We want to help you. We'll be at the NFL Combine. We'll be down at the Senior Bowl. You'll get to meet Dane at these places. You'll get the network, but we want to get you in the game. I'm not convinced that anybody that wants to, man and woman, they want to work in football, there's jobs in football. It's almost impossible. And by the way, some of you may be agents. You came to this to learn how to scout, but before you know it, you know a player that's going to go to either LSU or Tennessee, and the dad likes you, NIL. Before you know it, you're in the business. It's almost impossible not to work in some capacity in football if you have a desire. Let's go to our good friend and global ambassador, Michael, over in France. Michael Laurent. Michael, come in with your introduction and your quick question. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, do you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, Dan.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. It's the middle of the night here.
Yes, I know that.
Hello, Dan. My name is Michael. I'm French, and I'm involved in football for 30 years.
Okay.
And I would like to have an update about the international, the look for an international player. It's very easy. It's easy to find players people in Africa or in Eastern Europe with athletic ability to play in the CFL or in the NFL. It's not so, it's easy, but the real challenge is to find this kind of athlete with the football IQ and the mindset to have an impact. That's the real challenge. So I know in the NFL you have a spot in the practice squad for international players.
Yes.
And there is an NFL academy in the UK because they are aware about this gap. And I wanted to know if it's the same in the CFL.
Great question, Michael. Go ahead, Dane. It's a great question. I want to add to the global, but go ahead, Dane.
Yeah, so the CFL is making a big global outreach as well, and they have certain roster benefits for international players. Obviously, in this case, non-Canadian, non-American players, in order to get them on. In fact, just like in the NFL, you can get a roster exemption on the practice roster. For the CFL, and we're always looking for those, right? If you can play football, the easy part's finding American football players because there's so many American players to choose from, and they're willing to come on up. However, the difficult part, one, is finding quality Canadian players and quality international players. So the more we can get of the latter two, the better your CFL team is going to be. So.
And Dane, I want to add to this. One of our graduates, Mark Dolgerian, is with the NFL International. It's a great story. He took our course. But more importantly, with the new NIL rules, and I think from Congress it'll be lifted so there won't be the passive NIL, but we're seeing more and more students coming to America and college scholarships. And I'll use the example, the winning field goal kicker from Japan in Hawaii came to never seen a game, but learned how to kick on YouTube. He got 4 field goals. I'm teaching in Hawaii, but he got 4 field goals against Stanford, the winning goal. Last week, he got 2 more. He never played the game. He did it on YouTube. But you and I agree, the NFL gets it. No different than playing in Brazil or going to Australia next year, being in Mexico City. This globalization of talent identification and the collegiate with NIL and transfer portal, even a Division II school, an athlete can come from Australia and play. It's very exciting. And even though the CFL is working on it, am I correct? There's talent out there that are coming to the universities that end up getting a tryout, not just with the international spot, but they're good enough to make a team. Your comment on international identification of talent.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think you're absolutely on the right path here, Doc. I think you have a lot of players that are finding their way to American universities. You have a lot of services now that are helping, players in Africa, Eastern Europe, et cetera, to be able to find their way into the NCAA. Excuse me. And those players are good enough, right? We're seeing it. I mean, Jordan Mailata, we watched him last night with the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, he's the spokesperson in this regard from a player from New Zealand coming up through the International Pathway Program. He was a 7th round pick of the Eagles. He was on their practice squad his first year. Now you're seeing him. He's one of the best tackles in all of football. So, to me, it's endless, the possibilities. And again, with flag football growing, I think the reach is only going to get further. And I think we're going to have more and more young people interested in playing professional football.
And more opportunity for scouts and agents, etc. Let's go to Sandy next with your introduction. Sandy, thanks for coming in.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. So my name is Sandy. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, actually, and I live here in New York now. I'm a business manager. I've worked at the Olympic Committee in Trinidad for over 12 years, and I've been involved in sport professionally for 10. My question to Dean would be, what opportunities are there for women in the NFL and the NCAA? And is there growth in this area for women?
Exceptional growth in this area. I think, one, that everyone's realizing that it's not just men that have talent enough to work in front offices and in leagues and on even the business side here. I think we're seeing an incredible growth of women getting involved in professional sports at both the NFL, the CFL levels, and especially the NCAA. So I would highly encourage you, Sandy. Again, it's all about building that resume. You've got a great background already, from your time in Trinidad and Tobago, and obviously what you're already currently doing. Anything you can do to continue to build to that, I think is only going to continue to open doors.
And Sandy, I want you to know we have 164 different countries. We're growing every day. We do multiple languages. We're getting ready to put AI in for that. But even one relationship out there representing an athlete, an agent meets every GM like I have over the years, having players. And that's the fascinating part about breaking into the business. And your background in that country is so important because nobody else has it. It's very exciting. Let's go to Dan Weiss. Dan, we'll get a few more. I don't want you to miss our Kansas City game night with your family. They'll be upset with you. And we'll have Mikkel come in and answer everybody's other questions about the course. But let's go to Dan Weiss or Weiss. If I got it wrong, then that's why I'm not the king anymore. So go ahead, Dan. Introduce yourself.
Hey, my name's Dan Weiss. Married, a father of 4. I have a government contracting business, and my whole.
Where do you live?
I live in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale.
I could I could tell from your background that wasn't Kansas, where Dane is
Yeah, it's
from.
not Kansas.
Okay. Okay, go ahead with your question.
And so I'm just always big on education, learning, trying to read as much as I can about anything that I'm getting into. So what books would you recommend on scouting and GM books that, would be good reads that I can educate myself so I could, if I do pursue this, I'll have knowledge going into it.
Yeah, I mean, for one, I mean, I'm a big reader. I'm an avid reader. Michael Lombardi's Gridiron Genius is one that kind of comes to
Yep, I
mind
know Michael Lombardi.
that I've read just the other year and really enjoyed. And I enjoyed the anecdotes that, he really got into. But, again, and pardon the upsell here, Doc, I'm gonna steal some thunder from
Yeah.
you. But, I mean, I just think, even with our class football GM and scouting, that's the point of it, right? Is to give this introductory information on what students and people are going to need to continue to grow in this field. I could give you 30 books to read, honestly, on the NFL and scouting. As you can see, I've got a couple books behind me as well. But I think that one, I encourage you to continue to be a lifelong learner. I try to be in the same exact boat. There are lots of things that I'm very well aware that I don't do great, and my wife lets me know those also. So it's always one of those that I'm looking to find an edge, and I'm happy to go offline here, Dan, and recommend some other ones.
Yeah. And Dan,
Amazing.
I want to
Thank you.
share something with you. I've been a professor for 55 years, and I depend on the live interactive chat. The questions that come to Dane's class next week probably haven't even developed. There's so many questions we'll have after tonight or last night's game. So that's one thing I take pride in. And then I do think our informational interviews are a book. Every time you interview somebody in the industry, you get something out of that. So not that books aren't important. I jokingly say books are outdated the day they're printed, but we really depend on the live chats with your fellow colleagues around the world and that. And Dan, I appreciate you taking the time to come in. Let's go to Preston Gross with your introduction. A few more here, Dane, before we get that game going. Preston, come on in.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm Preston Gross. I'm a sophomore at LSU right now. And I was wondering, where do you find these internships in the NFL? Like, what resources or websites are out there?
And Preston, are you working in the athletic department there?
I interviewed some people last year. So hopefully this semester I'll start. We'll
Preston,
see.
I'm going to share something with you. I'm an upsell here. If you took Dane's course and you go over to that football office, the director of football operations, and you say, I want to intern at LSU. I just took this course. I won't guarantee a job. We don't guarantee a job. I think you're going to have a great chance of working in the football office. Nothing against whatever major it is. That football is a greater major than anything you can get academically. I'm just done. I've been doing this for 55 years. You came to our chat. I appreciate it. You don't ever have to take a course. But if it were me, I would learn a little bit more than all the other students who want to work in football. You need to get in that football office. And if you don't believe me, have your dad talk to me. I'll explain why. You're spending a lot of money, but I want you working in that football. Whether you take a course or not, you've got to get in that football office. Dane, you can add to that if you want.
No, I mean, again, Doc, you're right on the right here. Because Preston, I would say the same thing. Like, you're at a major university and football program. There's no better place to gain entry-level experience than at LSU. And we talked about the growth of college football earlier. We talk all the time with John and I on football GM and scouting about how a lot of young people working in college football offices get opportunities in the NFL. So, there are a lot of things you can do to make yourself a good candidate for the NFL by working at LSU. And we cover those all the time in football GM and scouting.
And Thomas, I'm very impressed you took time to come in to learn, and I admire you. Whether you ever take a course or not, I wish you the best. But you can work in football. You can be a GM someday. Let's go to Braxton Magley with your introduction. Braxton, welcome in.
Thanks for having me in. I'm Braxton Magley. I'm originally from Longmont, Colorado. I currently go to school in Grand Junction, Colorado at Colorado Mesa
I
University.
lived in Longmont. For those that, I'm Johnny Cash. I've been there. I've been everywhere. I lived in Longmont.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a sophomore here at Colorado Mesa. I'm in the sports management program. And then I have some connections. I did a like informational interview with Coach Obi. He's the offensive line coach for CU, and then now he's at Northwestern University.
What's your question?
My question, sorry. So
No, just kidding.
I originally asked about the how to create good flow with it, and you guys answered that question. So my new question was going to be like, I had asked when I did interviews in the past about like how NIL might affect the new
Yeah,
market for college football,
yeah,
and then also kind of like what they look for when they scout or recruit people to
yeah,
come to their program.
yeah.
Is that too personal, like in
No.
invading, or is that just like a good way to like kind of create a better connection?
And Dane, I want you to answer it. I will share. I still worry of the $1 million 17-year-old quarterback at 30 years old. Will he have that $1 million, and will you know what to do with it? So there's a lot going on about character and all this. It's an interesting time. Dane, your comments with NIL of what's going on in the world of college athletics and draft and profiling.
And I think that's the reason why SMWW is here, and I think that's why the people need to get involved with the college
Yeah.
game right now, because NIL is evolving, right? And people are learning, and we're changing the rules all the time. We just now are in a brand new system for a very first time. So the quicker that we all get involved at our local university, the quicker that we start getting involved in the sport is, only going to expedite us, really getting entrenched in it, understanding it, growing, and becoming a leader in it. So, for me, Braxton, hey man, get involved with the program there, get involved with the football team, start learning about the challenges they have there at Mesa and elsewhere in the conference, and then continue to branch out. You just spoke, that you did the informational interview. That coach went from Colorado. He's already at Northwestern. Now that opens up a whole new pipeline for you to potentially, be able to reach out to and network with. So,
good job,
continue to do
Braxton.
these.
Good job. Let's go to Kwana with your introduction and question
Thank
for
you.
Dane. Welcome in, Kwana.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kawana Diaz. I'm from Brazil, but I live in the United States for 7 years.
Wow.
Currently, I am in Atlanta because I am an MBA student for Clarkland University, and I'm also the GA for the football team here.
I love it.
So I'm trying to pursue a career in scouting, so I am the GA for the player personnel. And because the coaches know that I'm trying to be a scout, they let me learn about the scouting part too.
Yeah.
And my question is, so my plan is to get an internship with an NFL organization next year. And what are the steps that I should be taking my first year as an MBA student to prepare myself for this opportunity?
Yeah, well, I mean, one,
Wow.
continue to be a sponge and, at the football offices, learn as much as you can. And then two, sign up for our football GM and scouting class. You get to hear John Wooten talk about it. And I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. They have a fellowship in the NFL named after John Wooten. It's the Wooten Scouting Fellowship. And they're looking for candidates such as yourself. It's open to former players. It's open to those working in college football programs and looking to get opportunities to go to training camp with NFL teams. So continue to do what you do, and we talk a lot more about that too. Pardon me, Doc?
Yeah, and as you watch the game tonight in Brazil and the impact of the game on those young kids in Brazil, they're going to reach out to you. Coaches are going to need you. You're either going to be an agent, make lots of money, or you're going to be a scout internationally. You're going to come to Indianapolis to our NFL Combine. I'm just telling you right now, you have the courage and maturity to come in. We need more global understanding. We need more women in football. It's exciting to have you in, and I so respect and appreciate you. Let's go to Marcus Stewart, and then we'll kind of get Dane out of here, and we'll bring Mikel in to answer any questions. Marcus, come on in with your introduction. Dane, this has really been fun, buddy. Marcus, come on in. We put a man on the moon. Go ahead. We got to be able to unmute. Go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I can.
We gotcha.
All right. Hi, my name is Marcus Stewart, currently a sports and entertainment management major at Wayne State University, doing my MBA right now. My biggest question is, what can I do to better position myself to get more in touch with some of our elite local football programs here? Well, technically professional and college, because I'm literally sandwiched between the Detroit Lions and the Michigan Wolverines. Both are within close proximity to me.
And don't forget about Eastern Michigan football, one of the best facilities in all of the MAC conference. So, you know what, Marcus, you're right. You're right in the, right in a hot, area of football, whether it be professional or college, right
Yeah.
there. There are opportunities everywhere. It's
Yeah.
all about those things that Doc and I talk about, building the
Yeah.
resume and networking. Those two
Yeah.
things are going to be all of our tickets into getting that opportunity we seek.
And Dane, I'm gonna outfox you here, but I'm gonna name drop. I turned down the Western Michigan job, the Broncos, and Jonathan Smith, the head coach of Michigan State, was my student. Marcus, you better at least look at our course and let us be a mentor for you. You're on your way, and you had the guts and the maturity to come here. I'm so impressed. And Dane, I want to take this time as I pass the mic to Mikhail, and I want to thank Nick and everybody. But Dane, I look forward with you and John in the future, and I can't wait to see you in Indianapolis. And it's an exciting time to be there. And I think, let me see, Dane says about his panel, Ellie, Brian, and Mark. Go ahead. Nick,
Excuse
go
me,
ahead.
one more thing. I actually did do my undergrad at Western Michigan University, so I'm very familiar with the MAC, and that was during
Where's
the PJ
Waldo?
Fleck era.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I love it. Where's Waldo was going to be my campaign. That's the name of the stadium. I actually turned it down.
I love it. I love it.
When I got Brian Dawkins and they called me back and offered me the job, I said, I had a little fun with the Hall of Famers. So anyhow, I appreciate you coming in. Nick, I'm going to pass the mic to you because I obviously don't know what I'm doing next.
Yes, exactly. I just wanted to ask Dane. So, tell everybody. So for this NFL Draft Combine, we have our SMWW Career Conference. Talk about a little bit your panel that you spoke with this past year with Ellie, Brian Baldinger, and obviously Mark Dolgarian.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's just great to hear all of our different backgrounds and perspectives because now we're finding out that it's not just the former player or former coach that's getting opportunities to work in professional football these days. So there are lots of different backgrounds. We come in all different shapes and sizes. So, really, I just love, really my affiliation with SMWW. The perk that I get out of it is being able to hopefully inform all of our students and give them some guidance on best practices for their next steps.
Absolutely.
Dane, Nick, thank you so much. Dane, thank you so much. I want everybody to stay 5 minutes. Mikhail will come in and explain a few things, but you guys have been great. I hope to see a lot of you somewhere, whether it's the Combine or the Senior Bowl or one of our classes. I'm interested in you. I always tell my students, adrenaline today, monetize tomorrow. Get paid for your passion. Mikhail, welcome in, and thanks for being there.
Yeah, of course. Well, what a way to close out the work week and start your weekend, Dane. Thank you so much for being here. What a great session, guys. For some of you that we are already currently in touch with, regarding some of our courses that you guys showed some interest in, hopefully today's session kind of clarify a little bit and give you a better understanding how our program works, right? And what the opportunities are afterwards. So if you do have any questions, or if some of you guys are, want to continue in education in terms of getting your master's or your doctorate degrees, we do have a CEC program. So it's not just specifically course related. So if you do plan on getting your master's or your doctorate degree, we do offer those opportunities as well. So I'm going to open up the floor to you guys. If you guys have any questions about our program, and see if there's anything I can do to kind of help you guide you in the right direction here.
Let's start with Willie here.
So Willie.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Are you in Hawaii? Because I am.
Yeah, I don't know why my camera is not showing. I have my camera on. For some reason, it's not showing my picture. But my question was, if you took the GM course, should you? Is the material the same in this particular course, or are there differences in this course versus the GM and scouting course?
Are you referring to the scouting apprenticeship?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, so Mikhail can talk a little bit about the differences between the two.
Yeah, so the scouting apprenticeship is I believe it's more weeks, if I'm not mistaken, it was about 16 weeks. And the football GM and scouting course, it's really it's teaching you also a big part in the front office of an NFL organization, right?
Yeah, I
As
took that
scouting,
course. That's a wonderful course. I
yeah,
love that course. That was a great course. I already took that one. I was asking, should you also take the apprenticeship course
yeah.
in addition to that, or does the material overlap?
No, there's no material overlap right there. So it's completely separated. It's a complete separate program as well, through us, of course. And again, right, it's continue getting yourself educated. I mean, we always have we get great feedback from our scouting apprenticeship. So students that have taken it and that are now currently working in football.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, it's you're building off the knowledge that you have initially gained through that, whether it's prior knowledge or through the football GM and scouting course, and going into a 16-week in-depth. What is it like to be a football scout? Like, how do you break down film? What are you specifically looking for each position groups, techniques? And it's going to vary from time to time. And obviously, you're going to take you get NFL plus premium on your side as well, so you can be able to go look down and actually see what's going on. And in the middle of the football season, there's no more better time to break down film.
Yeah.
So the relevancy of like going in, diving deep. I want to be a scout. I want to understand what it's like to be a scout, or even like sometimes agents like to take that course because in order to recruit players and identify great players to recruit, you have to know what you're looking for. You can't just be shooting in the dark. So that's why we say a lot of great agents are also great scouts. Now you got people on the agency staff who are maybe better at scouting than others, and that's how you form those relationships. But those are the kind of the key differences between it. Plus, you get to be able to go and have private sessions with Dane Vandernat as well at the Senior Bowl, which he's helped run many times the NFLPA Bowl with Rick Saratella as well, who's founder of the Draft Bible, and a lot of NFL teams look to him for advice.
Is it beyond the scope of this conversation to ask a question about the agent class?
Absolutely not. You can ask.
The agent class. I took the exam to become an agent and I passed. And so I was wondering, the agent class that's being offered, is that something you should take separate and apart from the apprenticeship? Like how time consuming are both of those?
Can you clarify which agent class you're talking
Football
about?
agent class, I'm assuming.
The
Willie?
athlete management or
No, it's for the people who passed the exam for agents, they were offering some special program to get in from SMWW for agents. It's like a $400 fee or something like that.
so
I received that email. Did you know what do you recall what I'm talking about?
Yes, absolutely. And so to clarify, and for everyone that is kind of confused, so we have something called an agent advisor program, something that I'm your main point of contact for that. So those who are allowed to be able to represent players need to be NFLPA certified. Absolutely true. We have people on staff who are NFLPA certified, including Dr. Lashberg, right? So this agent advisor program is for those who are both either certified or not. And what that means is you can go out and represent athletes, co-represent athletes with that NFLPA agent. Prime example of this, so we have two guys from Monroe, Louisiana. They found Cavante Turpin, 26 years old, in Poland playing football. How many 26-year-olds from Poland do you expect are gonna, make it to the NFL? You would lose money if you bet anything more often than not. So they found him, got a good relationship with the parents, brought him to the U.S., got him a spot with the USFL at the time. He became the MVP, and then obviously got to the point where the Dallas Cowboys took a chance on him, and now we see he's a three-time. He's a multi-time all-pro kick returner. He's getting it integrated into the offense more. So the point is there's talent everywhere. And we talked about the international part of the game. It could even just be people from America playing overseas being, there's hidden talent everywhere. If you're able to play, they'll find you. And so what we talk about the agent advisor program is a mentorship program. You come in weekly chats. We discuss how do you recruit players? How do you talk to parents? How do you deal with all these intricacies? Because this stuff you'll always see that you've never seen before. And we have people on staff who've seen it and are also learning it with you guys as well, because sometimes you may have a scenario based on the experiences. What's the right course of action for you in order to be successful? And a lot of people use it as a stepping stone. And so for you, as someone who's an NFL PA agent, I mean, it's a great first step for you to be able to go with this with support and not just doing this on your own, because it could be a lot, especially when you get into it.
Yeah, what our A program also offers is our agent advisor program is just because you have that piece of paper that allows you to work with professional athletes to become their agent, it doesn't necessarily mean that you know actually how to conduct the business, right? So really what we do is we're going to help mentor you from the recruiting process all the way up to how to negotiate a contract, how to write up a contract, clauses in contracts, how to promote your players or your athletes within professional organizations, and how to make them attractive to the market, right? When it comes down to marketing, branding, etc. So that's not what they teach you at an NFLPA exam, right? So, or any other agent program. So keep that in mind as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Hey, I had a question. I don't know if it's pertinent to this or this is just the last, questions at the end. I have been to the Combine and I've been to the Senior Bowl. I love both. I thought the Senior Bowl was like super, like really cool. If we decide to go again, are there opportunities that can go through you guys or to like, maybe volunteer at the Senior Bowl, help with the Senior Bowl, get on like I was there and it was awesome, but I wasn't able to like go on the field, that sort of thing. Is that an opportunity that could come up like, case by case basis? How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. How about this? Can you send an email to me?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put my email in the chat. So if you guys have any other questions, you can send it to me, and I'll also put Mikkel's as well in there, so you can also send
Perfect.
him questions as well. And I can ask someone I know that might be able to help you out, or may
That would be
not be
awesome.
able to. I'm just gonna ask. I'm not gonna promise you anything,
No,
but
that's fine.
I'm just gonna throw out a feeler out there for you.
Absolutely, man.
As
Thank you so
someone,
much.
of course. Any other questions? It's valuable time. And, I mean, Mikkel talked about the CUC program. I mean, one of the qualifications to be an NFLPA agent is to have a master's degree. A master's degree can take time, it's very expensive, but our relationship with CUC comes with multiple benefits. One, you get the SMWW benefits. So everything that Dr. Lashberg talked about, including his Sunday worldwide chat, every Sunday you come in, you ask him questions, and he'll be able to help you and be able to have that instant one-to-one access. But we waive your application fee, which tends to be close to a $200 to $250 value. We waive that for you. We help you streamline the process through that application, because sometimes it can be cumbersome. You have questions, financial aid, maybe a GI Bill can apply for you. There's multiple different things, and we help you through that. And depending on how much courses you want to take each term, you can finish it in about a year, depending on if you're how committed you are to it, and given your outside circumstances, all done online too as well. The whole premise of this online is that you don't have to quit your day job, as Dr. Lashberg likes to say. You don't necessarily need to drop everything and go head full of steam, but you can do it. You can pursue your passion while you're trying to figure out what you want and what your path is, because it's different for every single person. There's not a one size fits all. We just got to find what's right for you. And that's why SMWW was made. And that's why Dr. Lashberg created this company.
Do we have any other questions before we let you guys go? No? So one of our career advisors will reach out to you guys as a follow-up on today's session. So be on the lookout for an email or a phone call over the next probably Monday or Tuesday or so. And then yeah, if you guys do have any questions, I put my email in the chat. Nick put his email in his chat as well. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. And if that's it, I want to wish all of you guys a great weekend. And yeah, looking forward to speaking with all of you guys soon. Hopefully see you guys in one of our courses. Yeah.
Hopefully everyone's sitting on that couch watching some football this
Yes,
weekend.
sir. Thank you guys.
All right. Have a great rest of your
Thank you.
week.
Have a good day.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Thanks. Have a good one.